welcome to the Best Talks, wherein we are in conversation with the tycoons of today. So, when this show was offered to me, I was really very enchanted and quite enriching because this particular show depicts in bridging the gap between this side and that side of the river. Now, what do I mean by this side of the river? So, this side of the river are we all young people out there, just out of the college, and that side of the river means the business employees who are there into corporates, who are a businessmen, the entrepreneurs. So basically, we are trying to understand, we are trying to bridge the gap between what they expect from us so that we can improve on ourselves and try to be the lucrative, the profit making employees for them. As well as if you want to start a business, then definitely how do you go ahead with it? Because not every idea is the successful business idea. And to this particular session, I have a beautiful, charming, and young entrepreneur, Zavia Dalal, who is the host for this
Hello
Best Talks.
everyone.
Hi, Zavia,
Hello
what's up?
everyone. I'm good, Omkar. How are you? And hello, Jinesh.
Hello Zabia. Hello
It's
Omkar.
really an honor to speak to
Wonderful.
you.
Yeah. So, Zabia, what is the one thing that made you accept and do the show?
Um, well, to be honest, lockdown had taken away a lot of work from me, and I'm a workaholic. So taking up the show would have brought back the old work scenario in my life, and also this show would help our viewers to understand what business is, and how different businesses work and how the scenario is going to be out after the lockdown period ends. So yeah, this seemed like an interesting venture to take up. So that's why I took
Definitely,
this.
definitely. And I think it's quite gorgeous and quite interesting to sort of how we are building the bridge and trying to understand what is there on that side of the river. And also joining me today, our guest speaker is Jinesh Panchal, who is a great employee and currently working for Reliance Jio. So, hey, Jinesh, welcome and thank you so much for bearing with both of us.
Thank you so much Omkar. Thank you so much Omkar and the Zabia and also the college who has given an opportunity to be part of this the talk show of the by the Vata College. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Definitely, definitely. We are
It's a pleasure to have you at our show, Jinesh.
It's
There are a lot of things that we want to ask you, and it's just a great opportunity to speak to you.
it's my pleasure.
definitely.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Definitely, and we are way too thankful to ECELL for bringing up this particular podcast show wherein we could understand what's happening on that side of the river. I bet you, I'm purposefully saying this thing that on that side of the river because today when I went on the internet and tried to search something, to be very honest, I did not get something that concrete that builds up the gap. But definitely we tend and we depict to build this gap and build a bridge so that we understand and we become upfront and the right employees. So, Jinesh, I really want to start off by asking you. There's one thing that really excites me about MNCs is that once the whole education is done in the college, many of them find that, okay, so I'm just going to join a job to get an experience. So, MNCs have this perks, they have this regulations, they have a certain way of performing. So, I really want to know that what is that one thing that intrigues everyone? So, is that really happening in the MNCs? What experience are they talking about?
So thank you so much, Omkar and Zabia, again for this show. So before I start giving the answer, I just wanted to elaborate on one aspect. So when you're talking about MNC, so in MNC there are many companies. You talk about TCS, you talk about Wipro, you talk about Accenture, you talk about Reliance. Nowadays we are talking about Reliance Jio because I am part of Reliance. So I'm in Reliance since last more than 7 or 8 years. So I have been working with Reliance Jio and I have seen the culture in the Reliance. So so when you're talking about culture of MNC, so it depends on the company you are working on because the one who is working in Tata TCS, the culture is different. When you're talking about Wipro, the culture is different. When you're talking about Reliance, the culture is different. So it's not just about MNC. You cannot tag a one line the culture of MNC. It's up to the person working on the company, and also the culture of the company will also be playing a part of it as well. So now you talk about the interesting part of the MNC. So when I was in your college, I was in the college of Vidya Vardhini, so we were not expecting we were easily get the job because even that
Mhm.
particular time the situation was not so good. Situation is not so good because
Yeah.
it's a logical. You just talk. It's a logical because you just think about it. We want 15 people to work in the company, and every year thousands of people are passing out.
Yeah.
So this is again a breach, this is again a gap. How you fulfill this gap? So first of all, I was not even thinking we will get the job very easily. So we started a few courses or some XYZ courses, and suddenly one particular day I just got a call from the Reliance company, because they had a tie-up with the Vidyavardhini college itself, the cell of
Hmm.
the, it's a placement cell as a tie-up with the Reliance Jio company,
Yeah.
and I was so lucky. So we were so lucky. So on that particular time, Reliance was not even launched Jio. So if you know, Jio was launched, I guess, on 2014 or 15, and we were passed out on
Hmm.
2013. So 2 years back, we were we had an opportunity to just have an interview on the Reliance. So I just got a call from the Reliance, and we all students from the last third year in the Extc. We, I think, almost 20 people were there. We all were 70% aggregated in all semester. And suddenly we become a part of the Reliance company. Only two person were chosen from the 20 or 15 people. Me and one person was there also. So when I started job, the culture was different, because Reliance was not even launched. Then gradually, when I started understanding the behavior, the learning curve of myself, and I have seen the company, how companies also gradually improving themselves. So when you are aligning with the company, the culture will not have a much impact on you. But when you expecting something from the company should be like this, because you know what, nowadays people are talking, I want to work in a company with this. This will not
Yeah.
work. So when you started in a company and you are aligning with the company want this, company demand this, then you started learning this, then it will eventually become adventurous job, because every day it's a new learning. You talk about, because
Yeah.
you talk about TCS, Wipro, Accenture, any company, every day there is a new opportunity, because it's a, only then they are earning, right? They're earning when there is opportunity, there is a creativity, there is a uh, always there is a margin of creativity, and also company is demanding from us. Company
Hmm.
is demanding from us. If we are not involving ourselves, then our job will become, what you will say, it's a monotonous job, or it's a very boring job. But when you are contributing something in the company for yourself and for the company, the job will become very interesting job. This is my experience, not from the day one, but eventually. When I started job,
Yeah.
I started learning in the job as the company demand, but eventually it becomes a very smooth experience for me.
Wonderful. So
All
it's
right.
all about understanding that it's your company. You work as if it belongs to you, and it does not belong to someone else, or it's just like a bigger. You should not understand yourself as a smaller part of something big, but rather going with the flow and understanding that we are in this together and we are equal. We are working for ourselves. I think that something brings a lot of joy of working, right?
Understood. Exactly. Because even if you remember, I don't know, because right now I'm talking about Reliance Jio. So you have heard many times from the Mukesh Ambani, the MD of the chairman
Hmm.
of the Reliance industry. Whenever he's
Reliance.
talking in any conference, he always mention we. He never say I. You heard any speech of him, he always say we. We
Hmm.
is a family. We
Yeah.
Exactly.
family. Only then the culture will be the culture of family.
Right. Right. And to this particular thing, there's one more thing. Like, it's like a thread to what I've said previously. My previous question. So this, the next thing that I do want to ask you is talking about the creativity. So being on internet and searching, and also going through certain blogs and vlogs, I've seen that the MNCs tend to hamper the creativity of the employees. There's not much scope for the employee to just come out and paint colors on the walls of the company. Not in literal sense though. And also the important decisions are not being encouraged for the employees. Like, if employees taking a certain decision, certain important decision, it's not encouraged. It's always the higher ups who have to scratch up their mind, do the brainstorming, and their decisions are considered as the most valuable ones. So what is your take on this?
I full on agree with you. The way you mentioned the, so indirectly you are saying about the politics, right? You talk
Yeah,
Yeah.
about
somewhere.
politics. You talk about politics. You talk about dirty politics. Or you talk about XYZ. So it is not just about MNC. It's everywhere. You look at on any shop, you look at a small company, you look at a middle level company, you talk about MNC. So everywhere it is a part and parcel of the companies where you're working as an employee. But honestly speaking, this is the I'm not I have never facing this kind of a situation, at least in my company, because luckily, so till today I am the youngest person in my company, because all the my colleagues, they all are older than me. They have experience of 10 years, 20 years. So initially I felt the same thing, because company is killing your creativity. But you just think about yourself. You don't read on the internet, you don't google it. You just think about yourself. When you're talking about entrepreneur, you have started your company. So what do you want from your employee? Just think about yourself. What you expect from the employer you're hiring? You really want to kill his creativity?
No, definitely no.
Then that's what that is a big question we have to ask ourselves. Company doesn't want to kill our creativity. It's just that because of multiple layer in the company, there may be a situation where one layer or above layer, they are trying to playing some game. But if your creativity is very real, then it doesn't matter, because creativity will any which ways it will come out. And company want creativity, that is for sure. But yes, you have to be very smart enough, you have to be very honest enough to show your creativity in a right way. Because sometimes, you know what, from the practical example in the company only, sometimes people, जैसे कई बार लोग कहते हैं ना, ये तो बहुत भोला है. You heard
Right.
this term. जैसे घर में भी
Exactly.
हम
I
किसी
do.
को कहते हैं, बाहर भी बोलते हैं बहुत भोला है. So you should not be like a bhola, but you should be like a very smart enough. Don't play politics, but you should be a smart enough to play a role of something where uh, you give proper input, you channelize proper input to the correct person, not to the anyone. Creativity means
Right.
you put up your message to the right person in the right time, with whatever you have it, and any which ways it will reach to the person. And if this person is not supporting you, whether it is your manager or a boss or anyone, if it is not reaches to you, then also in a company always there is a policy where you can reach out to the HR manager or anyone. But people are misleading creativities and the ideas. There is a
Right.
huge difference between
Hmm.
creativity and idea. Nowadays people having
Creativity
any
and
idea.
idea.
People is having an idea and they're just saying it's a creativity, and my creativity is not accepted. My creativity is killed by the manager or by the colleague or someone. It's not
Yeah.
the creativity. Creativity is actually when people are appreciating you. That's the
Hmm.
nature of all human being.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So
So I think,
Akash, this just
yeah,
brought a
yeah. So I'll
question
just,
in my mind.
yeah, yeah,
So if
definitely.
you
I
don't
just want
mind.
to conclude that thing and I want to hand it over to you. So I think what I learned, this was a very most important and a noteworthy point, that creativity is not encouraged. This is a myth which is bursted. So not all ideas are creativity. That is the first thing that I could take up from this conversation. And the second thing is that you don't have to be that very goody kid, because anybody will come up and just infuse you with their thoughts and manipulate you. So it's very important to you to stand by your thoughts and not get into the dirty politics. Don't play the dirty politics. But if someone is coming and playing with you, be smart enough so that you can tackle it up. So I think it was quite important that creativity is not encouraged, is the false statement, and the truth is busted today. And definitely, Zabia,
Hmm.
please take over with your interesting questions, because I'm waiting to hear them out.
And
Yeah.
just
So
one more point, I think, one more point, I think, before I think Zavia will talk about it. One more thing, when we talking about creativity, so creativity does not mean sometimes it's really creativity, but your job, your company is not demanding that,
hmm.
right?
Right.
Sometimes a job, a company is not demanding that. Still, you are offering them a creative ideas, so that also doesn't work. So you also have to be aligned with what your job is demanding, what your
Yeah, the
job, what your
pre-existing
manager.
system.
Yes, yes, yes. Because sometimes you are totally thinking out of the box, doesn't work, because company is paying you, company is paying vendor, so company also want the output. They don't want the black box.
Right.
Because when
Wonderful.
you have a black box, but when you have the black box but you know the output, then it's not a black box, it's a white box. Nowadays people are just saying yes we can do like this, but it doesn't work. You have to have a sort of affirmation, you sort of have a conviction on your thinking, because because every thought need a investment.
Rightly
Every
said.
thought, every idea need an investment, and not just on
Investment. Yeah.
you but on the product. So it will take a time, so you have to be very calm, you have to be thinking very positively, and you have to have a way to put up your idea in a right way, to the right time, to the right people.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, Zabia.
Yeah. So I'm sorry for being for interrupting you in between, Omkar. Like
No, no,
because
no, no,
you
not
know,
at all.
yeah. So actually, Dinesh, what the thing was, like just 2 days ago, I had been having this conversation in one of my group of friends about ideas being stolen, and people telling me, come and tell me that, Jabia, you know what, I don't feel comfortable in giving my idea to a company because they steal it. They won't give me value for my ideas, or they won't give me anything back. And yeah, so I want to talk to you about that. Like, if someone has an idea and they provide it to you, like, what is the take? Like, because people have this misconception that companies steal them instead of providing a value, and sometimes even this thing happens that the idea gets rejected, or the idea is not suitable enough and the company does not inform. So please tell us about that. Please debunk this misconception that the idea gets stolen by the big companies.
So again, as I mentioned, the same thing again, I am reiterating. For an example, let's say you have some idea and you are sharing with your colleague. Then what's the purpose of it? Why you're sharing with him or her?
Hmm.
Is he going to implement? Is he going to give you approval? Is he the decision maker? No. Then what's the point of
Yes.
sharing idea with anyone? Yes,
Yes.
discussion is different. Discussing idea is different, but you have everything in your mind and you're sharing with your colleague or the friend. It doesn't work, right?
Yes.
So idea should be go to the right person who's going to make a decision on it. If he's not
Hmm.
going to make a decision of your idea, then he may be using your idea and manipulate it. So that is 100%
Yes.
chance. That is
Yes.
100% chance, and that's why you have to be very very smart enough, because it's not like we are like a selfish or something. It's just
Hmm.
that, मतलब फॉर एन एग्जांपल, सिंपल एग्जांपल भी ले लो आप. समझो आपको किसी को कुछ बात बतानी होती है ऑफिस में या घर में या कहाँ पर भी, तो
Hmm.
वी आर वेरी कॉशियस कि बात को हमें किसके सामने कैसे रखना है. किसी को भी हम हर
Yes.
बातें नहीं बताते हैं. वी
Hmm.
हम उसी
Right.
को बताते हैं जिसको बात जाननी जरूरी होती है. That is a
Yes.
specialty. That is a specialty which also I'm still learning from the, because as I mentioned, सबसे छोटा टीम में मैं हूँ. Since I'm working since more than 7 or 8 years, still I am the
Yes.
youngest one, but still I'm learning, because we are so extrovert in the office as well. हम जो चीज होता है किसको भी कुछ भी बोल देते हैं. It doesn't work like that. You have to be very
Yeah.
calm, you have to be very focused on what is the need of the job. So I'm again reiterating the same thing. Idea has to go to the right person, right time.
Yes.
So your
Exactly.
idea
Uh,
will never kill. So you say
yeah.
idea will kill.
So
Idea will be used by another person. It's not kill. It's not killed.
yes, exactly, exactly. That's the point. Like, people have this kind of misconception that if they give it to a company, their idea will not, their idea will hold no substance, or they shouldn't be giving it to a company because it will get stolen. So I'm really thankful this topic was brought up, because now, to my viewers as well, like, now that your idea is not getting stolen. Your
In
idea has
Zabia,
a
we have
place in
a
the
in,
world if it is good enough.
yes, yes, Zabia, we have a classic example in the field of engineering. That is the example of the Tesla and the Thomas Edison. So we have a
Yes.
classic example. Idea can never be stilled. Still, we are remembering a Tesla, not the Thomas Edison. Though we are छोटे बच्चों को हम पढ़ाते हैं कि थॉमस एडिसन के 1000 एफर्ट वेस्ट हुए, का एफर्ट उसका सक्सेसफुल हुआ. बट स्टिल इन द बिगर वे वी आर सेलिब्रेटिंग टेस्ला. व्हाई?
Tesla, yes.
Because idea can
Because
never
he
be
was the
still.
one. Yeah, true
Yes,
that.
yes, 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 yes.
Definitely. I'm really grateful the topic was brought up. Now, coming back to the technical side of your work process, I want to know about VVM and LTE networks. Like, how do they work? What are they? Because a lot of people do not understand such networks and how they work. So please tell us about those.
Sure. So I think you both are in EXTC, right? Or in
Um,
different?
no, he's
No.
in EXCC. I'm in instrumentation. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So let's say you are in EXTC. So definitely you might have studied 2G and 3G or something, at least something in the curriculum. I'm not sure right now what is the syllabus. So it's okay. You if you're not aware about it, it's a
Yeah.
very fundamental, it's very basic the way communication works. So like for an example, let's say मुझे ओमकार से बात करनी है, right? So there is a protocol. Let's say Omkar is talking to you, Omkar is talking to someone else. So there is a protocol which I'll follow. जब ओमकार silent होगा, किसी से बात नहीं करेगा, that time I will talk to him. So there is a
Yeah.
fixed defined protocol which define the layer of the communication. So 2G and 3G, we already all are aware of it. What is 2G and what is 3G? It's a second
Hmm.
generation communication, third generation communication. 4G is just an advanced version of the 3G. So where initially we had a circuit switch network. Circuit switch means you can talk like it's a fixed line communication where the connection is established between A party and the B party. But when we are talking about 4G network, it's a packet switch network. It's not a circuit switch. Means dedicated bandwidth, dedicated resources is not given to one person directly, which we had in a 2G and 3G. But the advantage of the 4G is like we have a what we call as the packet switching, means we are efficiently utilizing the resources in the air in the
Right.
4G. So it's a too bit technical, I think. So I'll again try to elaborate in a very simple way. So 4G in a very funda is a layman term. 4G is a very super fast communication compared to 2G and 3G. So where we are using high frequency bands for transmitting
Hmm.
informations. So again now we will be having a 5G as well. So
Yeah.
now the term is a LTE. So LT is
Yes.
nothing but a 4G. LT is basically evolvement from the 3G. We call it as a long term evolution. So when the government governing bodies of the telecommunication, they design a paper, so they decided we will be having this 4G for the long time, because every generation will last for almost 10 years. If you know,
Hmm.
1G starts from 1980, 2G start from 1990, then 2000 we have a 3G, 2010 we have a 4G, and right now we are leading towards 5G, which is a 2020. So we are leading towards the high speed internet, high speed communication network. So fundamental remain the same, but
Hmm.
the way we are working, the way the network is building is very fast and efficient. That is a long term evolution. Now the second
Yes.
term you talk about is a VVM. So
Yeah.
VVM is not a network. VVM is not a network. VVM is just a service. So probably you heard about the OSI layer, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
I'm
have.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
So in the
I've heard that.
OSI layer, we have a physical layer, then data layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and the top of it we have a application layer. So
Exactly.
VVM is residing on a top of it, which we call as a voice, video, and multimedia, or voice, video, and messaging. We call it as a
Hmm.
VVM. So in telecommunication, one team one team basically is working for the HSI, which is a high speed internet, which she was
Hmm.
complaining about. The net is not working very slow, browsing is working very
Yeah.
slow, WhatsApp call is
Yes.
working very slow. And one
Yeah.
aspect of it is a VVM, which is a voice service. One is the browsing or internet services, and one is a voice service, right?
Okay.
So right now specifically I am working in Reliance since last more than a 4 year 5 years. I am working in the VVM part. So working on the experience of the customer from the voice side, how the customer experience can be evolved, how the customer experience can be enhanced through the optimization. So this is in short. I think again it might be little confusing, but still this is a very in a very basic nutshell. It's a 4G is just a evolution from the 2G and 3G. Now it's a 4G, and then again we will have a 5G.
Yeah.
So you maybe you can
So
have
when
a
you, yeah, yeah.
You carry on.
So, like when we talk about networks, in India, networks, internet also came after a very long time, and it started being used by public in very recent years. So, as the demand has been increasing, how have you been handling your customers? Because every day a customer increase, every day a business turns digital. So, how do you handle all that stuff?
Yes, yes. So there is another aspect of it. One is we talked about application and services, HSI and the VVM services. But now the topic is slightly different when we're talking about the customer onboarding. So there is a different processes in telecommunication. One of the
Yeah.
process, the first process is a campaign to lead. Campaign to lead
Mm-hmm.
means you are doing campaign in the malls, in the TV, through the advertisement. You are doing campaign to generate a lead of the customer because you want the
Yes.
database of the customer. So then we have a lead. You already have the list of the customer. Now you want to create a, you want to convert a customer into the actual customer of the company. There is a process
Yes.
which we call as a lead
Mm.
to. First of all is a campaign to lead. Then second is a
Yeah.
lead to order, how
Yeah.
you convert a person into the customer.
Into a
This is what
customer.
she
Yes.
is referring right now. Yeah, so campaign to lead, then lead to order. So this is a two process right now she is mentioning. So this is a quite straightforward process because this is just a replication of the network. If you talk about
Mm.
the manufacturing of the car, if you talk about manufacturing of the
Yeah.
toys, if you talk about manufacturing of
Mm.
anything, it is just a process of replication. Because once you have the process ready, you know how this process will work from end to end, start from the customer to the customer journey to the customer issue. When you have
Mm.
defined customer process very clearly, definitively for the huge number of customer, then the onboarding of customer will be a very easy task. It will be not be a difficult task for a company.
Mm.
It is just that now the second topic will come out of it, which is a big data. Because taking customer into the company, it will be not be a so big task, but
Mm.
once customer is part of the network, then it will be a challenge. I'll give you one simple example. Let's say you have been working in Excel.
Yeah.
You have been working in
We
Excel.
use Excel. Yeah.
Any one of you?
Yes, yes, I
Yeah.
have.
Okay,
I
I
have.
do
how
use
many?
Excel. Yes.
Yo, okay, so how many rows you have seen in Excel? How many rows? One, two, three, four, you handle.
A
I
lot.
think it's infinite. It just goes on and on.
It's not in, yeah, it's not infinite, but how many you have handled? 10,
Uh,
50, 30, 50, 100.
200.
Depends.
Yeah,
Depends
okay.
on how many people are approaching us as well. What the things are. Depends on that. Yeah.
Yes,
No, no, but the
correct,
maximum.
correct.
Zabia is asking the maximum number of rows that we
So
have
you
handled. I
can
think it must be
yeah,
200.
after this podcast, after this podcast, you can just open the Excel and see the number of rows you can see in the Excel. It's
Yeah.
a fixed number of Excel, but the thing I'm talking different. I'm saying in Excel, you cannot hand your computer cannot handle the Excel if you have a enough number of field value in the Excel. System will be hampered. Same way, one customer is generating millions of data every minute or every
Yeah.
hour. So how we are
Yes.
going to store this data in the network? So that is a big question. How we are going to store this data in the network? Because when you're talking about customer experience, when you're talking about customer demand, first of all, what do you mean by customer demand?
Like
I'm
what the
asking
customer
you.
wants from the company.
Yes, not from company, just from the product. Not from the
Yeah, the
Yeah.
company.
Approaching
Eventually,
services
for a
yes.
that
service.
we
Yeah.
look
Yes,
forward to.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. How company will come to know? Let's say I'm asking you, both of you. Let's say you both have a company, and
Mhm.
let's say you are from the X company, she's from Y company. Both are the co-founder, the founder of the company. Let's say you have the 1,000 customer, you have a 1 million customer.
Hmm.
Then how you will define the demand of the customer? What is the way?
We will we
What you
will
will
ask
do?
them like through various techniques, like by asking them we can know what they want from us,
But
or
how you will
like
approach?
doing surveys or
How you
something
will
like
approach
that.
them? How
I
can
think
we approach
media
them?
works in this case. Media works.
Yeah, I mean, it would be done digitally. I mean, that
Oh,
is the
you
easiest way
really
to reach out to millions of customers.
do we really want media person reach to us to know our demand?
Like
Do
through
we
the banners and through the lot of different shows and through the
Like through
advertisements.
surveys hosted on the
That is
website.
promotion. That is a promotion, not a demand. How you'll know the demand of the customer, what customer want? It is what you are offering them. It's what you are showing them, what we have it, like promotion
Uh,
and banners.
then through the
So when
reviews.
you're talking, yes, perfectly right. So because you cannot, first of all, in the world, in the world, not even a single company, telecom company, is near to the Reliance Jio, because Reliance from the India, and India is having what is the population of India? Around
Like
135 crores,
135
Yeah,
crores, right?
right? And one from 135 crore, we in Reliance only we have more than 35 crore customers. Now, how will come to know what is the demand of the customer? What is the way?
exactly.
There is no way by which we can know the demand or the means of the customer. We can only know by what he's doing throughout the day, what he wants, what is his usage pattern, what he's doing, what he wants, by which only, and also by feedback we understood something is wrong with this customer, something is wrong with this area, something is wrong with this device, something is wrong with the cross function issue. So this is by the data, and for that we have to store the data. The data storing is a big task. Big means it's a big task, no one even think about it. It's for the layman person, it is just next to impossible, because
Right.
what we know MB, GB, and
TB,
then
giga. No, giga तो something उसके
तो
ऊपर I
गीगा
think
टीवी
it's
के पहले आते हैं, right?
that's all. So this is our everyday limit. What? Because this is where we are playing. We are storing a
Yeah,
hard disk 5 TB, 10 TB. So then we have a TB, then zettabyte and petabyte. So there are a lot of things is coming into the mind. So you just have to work on it. How this much of data will be stored somewhere, and how we are going to process it. So this is where the this big data and the customer demand fulfillment will come into the picture.
okay.
So
So
that's why
basically, there is
nowadays, that's why it's a new field which is emerging, which is AIML, artificial intelligence and machine learning, because
yes.
we human cannot work on the data which is infinite size almost. So that time
Hmm.
machine has to learn automatically from the data and create a decision and give us a suggestion
Right,
what we should do.
right, right.
right.
Very
Wow. I
interesting.
mean, it is very interesting, to be honest, because like when we think from the level we are at right now, we do not think about the zettabytes or petabytes like you said. We just think about us. So for us to think that what goes on behind the scenes in a company, when you process the data, take the demands of the people, handle their grievances. So it's a big thing basically. Yeah, so that
Definitely.
leads me to another question for you, Jinesh. Talking about the competition, because it's not just one company. Like, for example, if you see the recent ads coming on by Airtel, so we see that they're talking about how, customer grievances. That's what speed, aisa vaisa. They talk a lot about their company so that they can sell their product. So competition is high. How do you deal with that competition, and what are the measures that you guys take to be better than the fellow company or your competitor?
Right. I think there's one more layer that I want to add to this particular question before Chinesh just answers it. So, as you asked Zabia, that there's so much of competition around. So, I think indirectly, even the employees have to face this competition. So,
Yes.
maybe speaking about the overtime or longer working hours, with a lot of pressure from the up layers, the higher ups. So, I think that is sucking out the joy when you work. Because you don't really want to deal with the competition, but you really want to focus into the work. So in this case, I think adding this one more layer, how would you take it ahead, Jinesh?
Sure. The question which asked by Jabia, I think it's not so relevant for at least me right now because I'm not owning the company. So I don't have to worry about the competition with another operator of the company. So because that is a altogether different aspect of it, because we don't know what is going on, because there are a lot of things which are under carpet, so we are not aware of it. But what Omkar was asking, it's a little different when he is talking about competition between the colleagues or the team or something. So again, as I mentioned initially, competition should be always healthy competition, because sometimes competition motivate us. Otherwise, people seems to be very lazy sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes competition is very healthy. It will help you to push ahead, because competition is a different from the pressure. Both has a different consequences, because your question what was a competition, but the way you talking was like a pressure. People has to work for the extra hours, because competition has nothing to do with the extra hours or something. It has nothing to do. But when you're talking about pressure, I agreed. There is a situation in the company, in many companies, where you have to work very hard. You also have to work extra. I agreed for that as well. But it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't. You don't have to worry about it, because even if you have to work extra, because let's say you do not have choice to change the company, right? And you also know when I'm going home मुझे अच्छा लगेगा नहीं, that is also a bad choice. So better है कि if you have to work little long for some day or some time, it doesn't harm you. Even you have to, because someone is asking you to work extra, that means he's also working extra. Means pressure उसके ऊपर भी है, प्रेशर इस उसके ऊपर भी है. सो बेटर है कि वी प्ले वेरी गुड गेम, वी प्ले हार्ड, वी प्ले एक्स्ट्रा, बट विद हैप्पी. इट शुड नॉट बी लाइक अ रूटीन. जस्ट कीप रिमेंबर, it should not be like a routine every day you have to work hard. Sometime you have to work hard, sometime you have to work extra. And competition is a separate topic, because in competition, when you talk about competition, it's politics come into the picture. So we should not fall into the category. We should be very very, लाइक जैसे आपने देखा होगा ना हॉर्स राइडिंग में जैसे घोड़े होते हैं ना, उनको यहाँ पर आंखों पे ऐसे पट्टी बांधते हैं ऐसे, सो दे कैन नॉट सी कि मेरे बाजू में कौन है. ही जस्ट हैव टू रन ब्लाइंडली. So same way, so this is the competition. Competition does not mean I have to see here, I have to see here, then I have to run. This is not a competition. This is a politics again. Competition
Right.
means you are playing, you are in the game, but you are like this. This is the competition.
Right.
So
And
you
I
will not
think on
affect it.
this, yeah, on this similar note, yesterday me and Jinesh were having a conversation, and then he spoke about being self-motivated. So when you say that you have the straps for the horses, and you're not supposed to look here and there, but rather focus on yourself. And I think in this particular picture, the self-motivation arises, and that's what is going to make you run fast and win the competition.
That is the only way. That is the only way to run faster, because एक second भी अगर आप देखते हो यहाँ पर in the horse riding, then you are lost. You are lost.
Exactly. Right.
Same way in the office. Same way in the office. When you start copying idea of the other person, then eventually you lose your creativity. You lose your intuitive power. And nowadays, frankly speaking, company doesn't require hard worker. Hard worker is
Right.
a must. Company required a person who has a decision making power, who has an intuitive power, and that can be only come when you are calm. When you are looking here and there, when you are copying people, your decision power will be zero. I'm telling you, at least from my experience. But when you are working and you are focusing on yourself, what is your area, what is your contribution, everyone will acknowledge you, because when you focus on yourself, the other person will also acknowledge you. But when you're copying him, then you are creating a dushman in the company. And we don't want to create a enemy in the company. We have to create a friends. Then only the environment, everyone has their own quality, and everyone can work together and create a better team. And the second topic which you just raised about the self, when you just Omkar was just raising about the self motivation. So I would like to share one of my experience. I think, do we have a time?
Yeah, we do. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
sure,
We do
sure,
have time.
sure. So I think even yesterday only I talked to Omkar regarding one of the experience which I need to share, because this will be really helpful for the people. So I was just saying him, when I was in school. So when I was in school, primary school, so till because I have to change my school from the 7th standard because school was till 7th only. Then from the 8th standard, I have to change my school. So when I
Okay.
was in school, only 11 students were there in the school in my class. Only 11,
Okay.
and 10
Only
boy and
11.
one girl. Yeah, only 11, only 11. So
Oh my
I
God.
was so it was like a family. So it was like so easy to deal with people. And suddenly, and I was scholar. I was a topper at least for 3 years. So
Yeah.
fifth, sixth, and seventh standard, I was a topper. Then I went to other school. So when I went to
Okay.
other school, just I look at the class. It's a 3 or 5 floor building. Initially, it was a one room, and now it is a 3 or 5 floor building.
Yeah.
So इतना डर अंदर आ गया. अभी कैसे होगा? How this will work?
Yeah.
मतलब क्लास में 11 स्टूडेंट थे, अभी क्लास में इट्स मोर देन 100 स्टूडेंट. सो हाउ टू डील विद दिस? उसके बाद में क्या हुआ, धीरे धीरे, क्योंकि सबकी अपनी अपनी वीकनेस होती है. फॉर एन एग्जाम्पल, आई एम
Hmm.
जस्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट माई सेल्फ. सो आई वॉज जो स्कूल में था, सो आई वॉज सो फ्रेंडली. इट वॉज लाइक अ स्मॉल फैमिली. जैसे इस बड़ी स्कूल में गया तो वहां पर इट वॉज लाइक अ स्टेज फियर. किसी के सामने
Yeah.
में बोलने की हिम्मत ही नहीं. स्टिल आई वॉज अ टॉपर.
Hmm.
I was always in the rank of
Yeah.
1, 2,
You.
3, always.
Yes.
So I was good in
It's in
study.
your
I was good
profile
in
as well, right?
yes, yes. I was good in study. But when I अगर कोई मुझे कहेगा कि तुझे इसके सामने आंख में आंख मिला के बात करनी है, then I'm lost. I
Yeah.
still remember. I still remember the incident in my school. जब भी टीचर इंग्लिश की टीचर थी, उसने मुझे कहा कि शी वाज लाइक सबको लाइन से स्टैंड अप करती थी, कहती थी आपको इंग्लिश की लाइंस पढ़नी है. तो जैसे ही
हाँ.
मेरी बारी आती थी तो मैं उनको बोलता था, मैडम मेरे पास खांसी हो गई है, कफ हो गया है, और इससे मैं बैठ जाता था. So this is the fear I was facing when I was in 8th standard. उसके बाद
Okay.
में क्या हुआ, आई नेवर, घर पे तो मैंने किसी को बोला नहीं एनी विच वेज, बिकॉज आई वाज गुड इन स्टडी. तो पीपल दे ओनली केयर अबाउट द रिजल्ट. रिजल्ट में क्या आ रहा है, इट्स 100%. इज अ टॉपर, इट डजंट मैटर, किसको पता भी नहीं पड़ता है. सो आई वाज नॉट एक्सपोज टू दिस काइंड ऑफ एक्टिविटी. एंड इवन नाउ स्कूल में बहुत सारी चीजों से बच्चों को एक्सपोज किया जाता है. बट दैट टाइम आई
Yeah.
थिंक 12 years बैक, it was hardly anything, hardly any activity apart from cricket. Only cricket and
Yes.
volleyball, that's it. That's the
Hmm.
sports we used to play. We didn't have a debate, conversation, anything. So 8th standard, 9th standard, 10th standard. In the 10th standard, I got a second rank in the school. Second rank मेरा school में आया. Then school has invited me for a speech on the stage. So I was like, अभी मैं क्या करूँ? तो स्कूल को मैंने रिप्लाई कर दिया कि मुझे बुखार आया हुआ है. I'll not be able to manage. You just see the sensitiveness of the this issue. तो से ये शुरू हुआ था 8th standard से 8, 9, 10th. Then when I
Hmm.
was working in Gujarati medium, I was working in a Gujarati medium. I was studying Gujarati medium. Then I got a job, degree, not the degree, in the diploma in the Bagubai College. So one of the
Hmm.
topmost college in the Maharashtra for the diploma. So initially, easily I got the admission in the Bagubai College. And whenever teacher used to start speaking in English, I was like, oh, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. से वो मुझे खड़ा करती थी, कहती थी स्टैंड अप, ब्लैंक फेस. ऐसे करके दिस इज हाउ द मोटिवेशन धीरे 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 कैसे डाउन होता है. सो इट इज 11th
Yeah.
standard, then 12th standard, then eventually I exposed to the company, L&D company, because they have a 6 month of training in the company. So I was part of the L&D company. The first I exposed to the people, तभी
Hmm.
मुझे धीरे धीरे समझ में आया कि यस जिनेश, यू हैव टू सॉल्व योर प्रॉब्लम.
Yes.
You have to solve your problem. बट फिर भी मैं सॉल्व नहीं कर पाया. सो आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट 8th स्टैंडर्ड, 9, 10th, 11, 12, 13. 6 साल हो गया, अब तक भी प्रॉब्लम वहां का वहीं है. देन आफ्टर व्हेन आई पार्ट ऑफ द विद्यावर्धिनी कॉलेज, उसके बाद तो डिग्री कॉलेज में तो क्या होता है, एवरी डे यू हैव अ वाइवा. देन यू
Yes.
हैव टू स्पीक. अगर वाइवा में भी अगर कोई कुछ क्वेश्चन, टेक्निकल क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे, देन आई हैव आंसर. But
Yeah.
we had a subject in I remember in the
Communication
degree
skills.
first year. Yes, communication skills. I forgot the name of the teacher in the Vidyavardhini college. तो वहां पर जो हमारा जो बड़ा हॉल है, सेमिनार हॉल है, तो
हाँ
वहां
हाँ.
पर हमें स्पीच देना था. मतलब वी यूज्ड टू गिव अ स्पीच. सो पूरे से हाथ से एकदम रोंगटे खड़े हो गए. तभी क्या करूं मैं. आई नो एवरीथिंग, आई कैन स्पीक एवरीथिंग, बट ऑन द व्हेन आई पीपल इज फ्रंट ऑफ मी, पूरा ब्लैंक. सो कितने
Yeah.
साल हो गए, 8-9 साल हो गए. उसके बाद वन डे आई थिंक माय सिस्टर टुक मी टू द वन स्पिरिचुअल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. तो धीरे धीरे फिर मुझे समझ में आया कि नो वन इज गोइंग टू हेल्प यू आउट. यू हैव टू
Right.
सॉल्व योर प्रॉब्लम. यू हैव टू सॉल्व योर प्रॉब्लम. उसके बाद जब भी कंपनी मैंने ज्वाइन किया, सो दैट टाइम आई हैव डिसाइडेड कि जो चीज मुझे नहीं आती है मैं वही करूंगा. तो मैंने सर को प्रपोज किया, सर टीम में जो भी बंदे नए आते हैं, जो भी जूनियर्स आते हैं मेरे से, सबको सर ट्रेन में करूंगा. क्योंकि उनको ट्रेन करना होता है ना, आपको कंपनी में ये होता है, ये एलटी के बारे में.
Uh-huh.
बिकॉज आई यूज टू टेक अ ट्रेनिंग ऑफ ऑल द जूनियर्स फॉर 4G 5G में जो भी आने वाला है उसका उनको देता ट्रेनिंग पूरे 6-6 3-3 घंटे के लिए. सो धीरे धीरे फिर वो क्या हो गया, स्टिल उससे भी हुआ क्या, धीरे धीरे कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्ड होना शुरू हुआ. सो
Right.
why I'm saying this, I have almost 12 years, 12 साल तक I have suppressed this. So that is the question in front of all the person who's watching this, though they are just pass out from the college और जो पास होने वाले हैं, so they have to really work hard on themselves. कि कोई भी हमारी कमजोरी होती है, अगर हम उसके ऊपर जीत सकते हैं, then you can win over anything. And politics and all this thing will never impact you, because once you win over
Right.
your vices, once you win over weaknesses, it will be very easy and smooth journey. And also you become a different person, your face will be different, because when you're working with
Right.
managers, so he also acknowledge, yes, he's working on himself, and he's a required employee for the company.
Right,
This
right.
is just
Very
experience I so really want to share with this all of you, so maybe someone need this, that's why.
right, definitely. And I think coming to the conclusion part of this entire conversation, it was quite interesting that we have bursted this myth of like creativity is not encouraged. As Jinesh
Yes.
rightly said, that all the CEOs and the company owners really want their employees to come out with flying colors, and the creativity is really encouraged. But again, there's a system that we need to stick to, because that's the system that we are all into. So abiding the laws of the system is also quite essential, and it's all about where you want to go, not where you have come from. So Jinesh was from a Gujarati medium, and somewhere he did not encourage himself to speak and did face certain issues, but his intention was to fly high, and that's what he has proven himself. And working on yourself, so practice will beat everything. If you are getting a victory over all your vices, I think that's the best thing that you can ever do. So I think thank you so much, Jinesh, for joining into this conversation. And Zabia, what would you like to say about this conversation?
Well, to be honest, this was a very, very interesting conversation, according to me, because there are a lot of people who have various ideas and thinking about a lot of things and a lot of processes that is happening out there. And some people actually call it a theft, which I personally do not like. And talking about the ideas and creativity portion again, that was my favorite part of this entire conversation, because it it will help me out, to tell people, to bring it out to people that no, maybe what you're thinking and what is actually happening are two different scenarios. So yeah, and also about the communication skills that you spoke about, a lot of people struggle with that. So maybe with your story they will be able to help themselves out and come out of their rivalry. So thank you so much, Dinesh. It was amazing speaking to you.
Thank you so much,
All right.
Omkar.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much, and thank you so much to the college first of all. So given us the opportunity to like have a conversation like with you people, Omkar and the Zabia. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And all the beautiful audience out there, stay tuned to Biz Talks, wherein we speak with the tycoons of today and come up with some interesting question and answers round, and some interesting concepts that we discuss over here. So stay tuned to Biz Talks, wherein we discuss a lot more interesting topics with the tycoons of today. Thank you.